You know who the ultimate anti-black segregationists are in America? Black people! Nobody wants to get away from black people more than black people. Take your ass to them Korean stores and ask them, what are you going to do for the black community during this food shortage?
There's a war going on. You get attacked all the time. You get called all these different names, and people are, questioning your character. And like, how does that make you feel?
Great question. Here's the thing. Interracial dating is economic treason. You deport the one who snuck in, but you can't do nothing about the 4 they reproduced. Donald Trump is a crash dummy for the white power structure. Yeah. He don't run this country. They want your culture. Yep. They want your music. They want your talent. They want your inventions. They want your skill. They want your rhythm, but they don't want any of your blues.
Right. Let's talk about your school, right?
Yes,
so you're opening up a school.
Stay with me.
Wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video. So welcome to Inside the Vault, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. I am excited about today's guest. We are sitting down with one of the most unapologetic black voices of our time, Dr. Umar Johnson, a doctor of clinical psychology and certified psychologist. Dr. Umar has dedicated his life to freeing the minds of African people, especially our children, from the system that miseducates and misdiagnoses us. He's the founder of the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG International Leadership Academy for Boys, the first school in America built on the principles of revolutionary Pan-Africanism and economic independence. From mental liberation to financial elevation, Dr. Umar has spent decades preaching one truth: a people can't be free if they don't control their mind, their education, and their money. Today, we're going deep from black economics, wealth psychology, Trump's America, ICE raids, NBA scandals, special ed, ADHD, the future of liberation in a system built on capitalism. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for my brother, Dr. Umar Johnson.
Glad to be with you, black man.
Man, so it's such a pleasure because to see you for all these years, really like fighting for our people and seeing, where we need help and how we could unify and get to the next level as, African people. For those who don't know, they should know you, but in your words, who's Dr. Umar Johnson?
Sure, Dr. Umar Ifatunde.
Ifatunde!
And you already mentioned the credentials, outside of being a psychologist, I'm a Pan-Africanist to the core. Yes. Obviously, I'm an advocate for parents, being a school psychologist, author. My job basically is to pick up where the ancestors left off. I judge myself by them because I really don't see a lot of elders, unfortunately, not that we don't have great ones, but I don't see a lot of them kind of picking up that torch that the ancestors had. Yeah. So for me, I want to pick up that torch of Garvey, that torch of King, of Malcolm, of my cousin, the Honorable Frederick Douglass, of Lumumba, Nkrumah, Spook. There needs to be a continuation of struggle. Yeah. And one of our weaknesses as African people is we don't have a continuity of struggle, whether that's in the States, whether that's on the continent, the Caribbean, wherever you go, there's no continuity. So when a great leader falls, we often wait and pray for another to fall from heaven as opposed to training the children who are going to replace those greats when they join the ancestors. Our lack of a continuity of struggle is a big issue for us, and that is the area or the sector that I'm trying to plug in with my work.
Why do you think that, right? Like I look at, the Marcus Garveys, the Malcolm X's, the, Martin Luther Kings. I kind of feel like it's, they've been taking, they take them out in a way that make people fearful to like step up.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons why they constantly broadcast the execution or at least the death. Yeah. If you notice, Abraham Lincoln is one of the most famous presidents in American history. A racist, but one of the most famous presidents in American history. You can hardly find a death photo of him. John F. Kennedy, very famous also. You can find death photos of Kennedy, but not as often as you will find death photos of King and Malcolm. Wow. In other words, when they assassinate our leaders, they put those bodies on display as a conditioning for other Africans to never attempt or even dream of following in their footsteps. Those murders, going back to the Willie Lynch letter, they don't murder African leaders just to eliminate that particular threat at that particular time. They murder African leaders as a lesson to all of those would-be leaders who will be coming in their path. If we go back to the Willie Lynch letter, whether the letter is authentic or not is irrelevant. The psychological science of it is true and exact. In that Willie Lynch letter, it talks about making an example of the biggest and the boldest in front of the women, children, and the other men. That's what Malcolm's assassination was about. That's what King's assassination was about. That's what Dedan Kamafi's assassination was about. Amilcar Cabral, Thomas Sankara, Maurice Bishop. Their assassinations were examples to would-be leaders because, again, with most black children being raised by their mothers across the diaspora, not just America, across the diaspora, so many of our children are raised by the mother. What does Willie Lynch say? If you abuse that man in public, the mother will raise her son to be a coward for fear that the same thing that happened to the father will happen to the son. So that's why you don't see unapologetic, politically and economically unapologetic black men as much as you used to. Definitely not in the United States, because they will publicly lynch and symbolically castrate you, Sean Puffy Combs, who may have been guilty of some crimes, but did nothing more than any other white mogul has done in that same space. But we're going to publicly castrate and lynch you since you want to start this black political party, and since you want to sue Diageo, this powerful white liquor company. We need Jay-Z to know we're not going to tolerate this. We need Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. We need Rihanna. We need Tiger Woods, not to say that he would, but we need Tiger Woods and Serena and Kanye to know we won't tolerate this kind of stuff. Now, out of all of them, Kanye has been the most outspoken, right? And I appreciate Kanye's unapologetically black tone. I'm not going to say African with him because I don't know if he identifies as African. So I'm going to say unapologetically black. And of course, I'm the father of both of those sayings, by the way. I created those. Unapologetically black, unapologetically African, even though everybody ran with it. Those are Dr. Umar's creations. But anyhow, even in Kanye's unapologetic assessment and expose of the Israeli control of black entertainment, he always manages to keep a snow bunny on his arm. And the reason Kanye keeps the snow bunny on his arm, because the snow bunny symbolizes to the white power structure that no matter what I say or how much I challenge you, I still go home and sleep with you.
Question though, so when you think about our community and other communities, so you mentioned the Israeli power structure, but let's talk like the Jewish community for an example, right? I don't know if there's a Jewish leader, if you will, but they follow sort of like a culture that allows them to stay together. is us looking for leadership. Is that the issue that black folks have? Like, shouldn't we start to focus on creating a culture that, regardless of, to a point where we wouldn't need leaders? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Okay, now, when we look at the Jewish community or any non-African community, they all have leaders.
Okay.
You just don't always see them. The reason why black and African leaders are always on display is, number one, we often have to serve a dual function of being a leader and simultaneously an organizer as well. Okay. When you look at other cultures, the organizer is here. The leader is here. For example, Charlie Kirk, okay, was one of the organizers of the MAGA vote for Donald Trump. Donald Trump was able to just lead, to use a simple, quick, and dirty example. The organizer is over here, the leader is over here. In African communities, the leader also has to be an organizer because we are not a well-organized people. Nor do we have enough people willing to stand up and stick their necks out for the collective at all. So you often find leaders assuming a dual function unless you have an intergenerational organization like Marcus Garvey's UNIA, or like the original Black Panther Party, or the Nation of Islam, you know, where you have intergenerational organization where responsibilities can be disseminated out. So the leader is here, Honorable Minister Farrakhan, but he has his soldiers and his ministers and the queens who will do the organizing for him. In most cases, you don't have that, especially if you're dealing in revolutionary politics, because those organizations tend not to last long anyway, because there's such a threat, they gotta be destroyed, right? So whenever you build from the ashes, you often have to organize and lead at the same time. But going back to your point with the Jewish community, because of their organization, right? Because of their organization, leaders don't have to be out front. The more organized a people, the less you need to see their leadership. Let's look at American capitalism, right? Most of us would not know the faces of those banks, those privately owned banks that control the Federal Reserve. We wouldn't know the faces of those bank leaders if they passed us on the street. Why don't they have to show themselves? Because the more organized a system is, the less the leader needs to reveal themselves. And this is one of the reasons when you deal with white supremacy or white capitalism, if you say, well, let's go take out the leaders of white supremacy on the global level, you only know 5 faces. You only know a Elon Musk, a Donald Trump, a Bill Gates, right? You don't know them other ones. You don't know who's at the head of Skull and Bones. You don't know who's at the Order of Rome. You don't know who heads the Illuminati. You don't know who's the chair of the Bilderberger Group, right? You don't know who's really running Mossad behind the scenes, who's really run the United States behind the scenes, because Donald Trump is his employee, not an employer, right? So again, because they are so well organized, the leadership doesn't have to show itself often. With that being said, it is incongruous for us to accurately compare, though, the Jewish community and the black community. Let's just take the American African community here in the States. The reason the comparison is incongruous, they never went through what we went through, right? They had their 5-year Holocaust under Hitler. That does not compare to 3 centuries, of human subjugation, dehumanization, mass exploitation, which was the African slave trade, right? Number 2, they received global help during that Holocaust that gave birth to the nation now known as Israel, right? Other people came to their aid. Britain and France and America, and took land from another people and carved out a nation state for them. Nobody has ever done that for us. And then thirdly, post-Holocaust, a lot of them, for fear of retribution, changed their names and hid their identity. They went underground. Not all, but a lot of Jews went underground, right, in order to assimilate into the Western world, because they were not well liked, not only by Adolf Hitler, but other people, due to stereotypes and other things, didn't really like them, so they hid their identity. You can never hide being African. I can't assimilate as a Chinese. I can't assimilate as a Caucasian. I can assimilate as an East Indian or an Arab, but the European Jews, they were able to assimilate as Anglo-Saxons, right? As everyday French, as Irish, as Italian. Many of them changed their last names. I was told this by Jewish people I work with, how their grandparents changed their names fleeing the Holocaust, right? And they assume Anglo-Saxon names and non-Jewish names. And so one of the things that protects them so well today is the fact that a lot of people, because of intermarriage, right, in the changing of the name, a lot of people don't know if you're Jewish on the surface or not. They got to ask you, because today, a European Jew doesn't look much different from any other Southern European. Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So whereas you and I, we could never hide our ethnicity or race amongst another group. So there's certain adaptations they were able to take advantage of that you and I never could. In addition to that, as much as Jewish people may not be liked by some groups, African people are unliked by everyone. They want your culture, they want your music, they want your talent, they want your inventions, they want your skill, they want your rhythm, but they don't want any of your blues.
Powerful, powerful. So what is it going to take, right? Because when you think about, we're always called the minority, but when you think about, us in America, you think about, us in the diaspora, we're technically not the minority, right? So we're not the minority. We have all of the resources, natural resources, the power. What is it going to take for us to get, to take back the power and take back the economic resources, most importantly?
First of all, when they call us minority, from the perspective of white supremacy, they're not describing our numerical strength because numerically we're the majority. The reason we don't appear to be is you have so many Africans who are trying to disidentify from being African. For example, if we look at the Latino African community, right? A lot of them will tell you, I'm not black. You understand? And look darker than you and I. But because I speak Spanish or because my skin is so pale, right, that I no longer feel an affinity for my race, I will just disidentify with it. Why did America come up with the concept of Hispanic? Hispanic is not a cultural term. Latino is the appropriate term. The U.S. government invented the term Hispanic in the 1970s because Spanish-speaking Africans from Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and other Spanish-speaking Central, South American, and Caribbean countries, islands, came to America and would call themselves white. And so America ran into an issue of census counting because you got all these black people who speak Spanish, who don't want to be lumped in with the American African, calling themselves white. And so, for the white man, whiteness is a privilege. And you have to be Caucasian to enjoy that. So they came up with the term Hispanics, basically was a compromise with Spanish-speaking black people. We're not going to force you to identify with who you are, right? But you can't call yourself white anymore. So here you go, Hispanic. What do you have in America right now? You have American Africans who look as Nigerian, Ghanaian, Liberian, Gambian, Togolese as you and I, who are telling you not only are they not from Africa, that not a single ancestor is from Africa, that they originated in the United States, despite there being no proof of America being a cradle of human civilization. They will argue you down that I was always in America and did not get here from Africa, right? If you look at our black philosophical ideologies, right? Respect to them all. But the Moorish Science Temples, they don't identify as African. The Nation of Islam, they don't identify as African. The 5% Nation of Gods and Earths, they don't identify as African. I love and respect them all, but they don't identify as African. So you just have to look at our history and how black people, for opportunity, fear, self-hatred, political expediency, opportunism, chose to disidentify from being African. My point is, if you add everybody into the pie, we clearly outnumber the other groups. The problem is you got so many different groups of African people who don't want to be African that it makes your numbers look smaller than what they are. Let me give you a quick comparison. In the year 2000, the United States government added a new census category, biracial. Before that, you was either black or white. There was no biracial. They added biracial. Why? Because the popularity, well, they knew Barack Obama was coming soon. He was mixed race. So they would use Obama's presidency to fan the flames of mixed race pride. And so all self-hating American Africans who didn't want to be called African can now say, I'm biracial, multiracial. Mind you, you have mixed race Africans on the plantation.
Yeah.
My grandfather Stephen, his cousin Frederick Douglass, both of their mothers, my auntie and grandmother, were raped by the slave master. There was mixed race. Nobody called them biracial.
Yeah.
Nobody called them mixed race. And even though they used pejorative terms like mulatto, you were still considered part of the African population and part of the slave population. So why? After 246 years of slavery in America, another 100 years of Jim Crow, another 50 years of apartheid, all of a sudden the government now says if you got white in you, call yourself biracial.
Yeah.
America will be 250 years old next year.
Yeah.
Why are you just now coming up with a biracial category? To make it look like there's less blacks than there really is on paper.
Yeah.
They're reducing us on paper. Since y'all hate yourself and want to call yourself mixed race and biracial, instead of it being 50 million Africans in America, it looks closer to 30.
And so
They're redefining us out of existence.
And so do you think it has a lot to do with population control? Because when I think about, I saw something that said that the net worth of the black community will be 0 by 2056, right? And when I hear that, I know that I'm surrounded around a lot of, specifically here in Atlanta, people that are getting to it, right? Becoming millionaires and getting, learning how to build wealth and, controlling that. So on one hand, we're hearing this narrative around, the power structure and population control, even COVID being taught or thought to be part
a population control weapon.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that, like the population control and why are as part of this narrative around our net worth being 0, part of a control thing to make us feel inferior so we won't continue to thrive as a people?
It is part of a control thing, but it is also partly the truth. One of the reasons why every group in America can outdistance themselves economically and politically over black people, although we've been here longer, and despite the aggressive systemic racism that has been put up against us, despite the racism, because that is the big reason. Nobody catches the hell American Africans catch because we're the only non-white people who cannot be deported. You can deport Chinese. You can strip the citizenship of an Arab or an East Indian if they want to get political and get out of line. What I give you, I can take back. Your naturalization is not permanent. You see that? I can send a Latino back to a Latin-speaking country. I can get rid of everyone in America except the black man because his enslavement, through his enslavement, I destroyed his natural, spiritual, and cultural connection to his land of ancestry. So what do you do with 50 million people you don't want and can't deport? You have to create systems of marginalization and elimination. COVID was a big part of that. But more specifically, COVID was about getting rid of as many elderly people, regardless of race, but specifically black people, because they don't want to use that money to provide Social Security for all them elders. Remember, in a capitalist economic system, and I want to be clear, capitalism is not commerce. Too many African people, and this is a conversation we have in the revolutionary sector with the socialists, the nationalists, the Pan-Africanists, et cetera, they believe if you're selling something, you're a capitalist. If you pull out some shea butter right now, say, Dr. Umar, I made this for $2.50, but I'm gonna sell it to you for $10. That's not capitalism, that's commerce. We have always engaged in business and trade and commerce. But you got black people who are so degenerate in their thinking, anytime you sell something for a profit, that's capitalism. Black people were selling for a profit before white people came out the caves of Europe. That's not capitalism. Is the deliberate domination of the means of production. I want to control the land, the resources in it, and all the institutions to make sure you can't get anything for yourself, so you're completely dependent on me, which allows me to raise the interest rate and the cost of the product or service to the point where you can't afford it, which ultimately means you're going to die a slow and painful economic death. Capitalism is about the destruction of a people.
Yeah.
It is not simply charging a fee for a service or a product.
Yeah.
Because you get people say, well, can we use capitalism in America
Yeah.
in order to empower ourselves? First of all, you live in a capitalist economy. There is no way on hell you're going to empower yourself in a capitalist economy without participating in that economy. You don't have to be capitalist. Just engage in your commerce. You're not seeking to exploit nobody. You're not seeking to deny nobody. You're not seeking to usurp everything necessary in order for me to be economically independent. That's what capitalism is. It cuts off every avenue for you to do for yourself and only leaves the high price seller of the goods for you to buy from. That's capitalism. That is not commerce. Now, getting back to this, with the COVID, they wanted to get rid of all the old people to reduce dependency on Social Security, because under capitalism, you are only useful if you can work for me, exploit your labor, or you can buy from me, exploit your wealth. If you cannot work for me, and if you don't buy from me, you're useless. So what is the one population in any society who no longer works and no longer needs to buy much? Old people. So from the white man's philosophy, we better off without them. And that's why Italy got hit worse with COVID than any European country, because Italy has the largest amount of old white people. Now, I'm very proud of Africa, because during the COVID crisis, many African leaders stood up and refused to either test or inoculate their people. In fact, I am of the opinion that President John Magufuli of Tanzania was assassinated because he refused to vaccinate. I also believe the late president of Haiti was assassinated because he refused to vaccinate. Africa stood up. Now, unfortunately, countries like South Africa, right, that I love very much. My last time on the continent was South Africa. I was disappointed that the government still went ahead and started immunizing the people, because you saw what John Magufuli did. He tested an animal, a plant, and a piece of fruit with the COVID test. And I think 2 out of the 3 came back positive. He said, how in the hell can a piece of fruit have COVID? How can a plant have COVID? He was proving that the test was played with. The test was a scam to make you think you have the disease so they can vaccinate you. And all they was going to do was push you with poison to get rid of you. Now, the last point on that gentrification question you asked, there's 2 documents that every African should read on planet Earth if you're concerned about population control. 2 documents. Number 1, Global 2000. Global 2000 was put out in December of 1974, I believe the date was, by Henry Kissinger, who's a descendant of Jews who came from the Holocaust. And he helped create the Rockefeller Trilateral Commission, right? Kissinger, who became Secretary of State, he was Secretary of State for the United States in 74. He put out National Security Study Memorandum 200, not Global 2000 yet. National Security Study Memorandum 200, December 74. This is the first time that a modern government undertook an investigation into population growth and trends for the entire planet. And out of this study, it's online, you can read it, he said that the United States government must take a lead role in controlling population growth. And in that, he targeted 13 countries, several of which were African. And almost every country that he targeted, they wound up with a serious LGBTQ movement. The LGBT is not about same-sex freedom. It's about the reduction of black population, because 2 men can't reproduce, 2 women can't reproduce. And what just came out of the, was it the American Medical Association or the Center for Disease Control? They said for the first time in modern history, teenage pregnancy is down in the United States, but they don't know why. We know why, because you have lesbianized our girls, homosexualized our boys against reproduction. Remember, the pushers of LGBT culture are not LGBT folks. They're heterosexuals. Why are heterosexuals pushing LGBT? Because it's a very effective population control strategy. It does what the birth control pill and abortion cannot do, and that is convince the kids to never touch each other.
Do you? And I actually have a follow-up question about population control, but based on what you just said, do you also believe social media has something to do with it, right? Because when I think about social media and how they've created these addictive devices that young people are so like the even if you're heterosexual, the boys are gaming. They want to spend time with other boys now, and so like the way social media is addictive is that part of the process as well?
Absolutely. Remember, feminism, which was modern feminism, a creation of the FBI and CIA to get women out the home through the propaganda of equality. Men and women are equal, right? So when I say propaganda of equality, I'm not saying that women are not equal. I'm saying that this was a government strategy to make the women discontent with being mothers, to get them into college and get them into the workforce, not only so they could tax their income and have more revenue, but also so that nobody could protect the mind of the child from the government. If you look at the flow of feminism unto the modern working career-based women, it has also coincided with the rise in pathology, suicide, mass shootings, because children are supposed to get a certain amount of nurture. Any living organism, I don't care if we're talking about the puppies or the cats or the giraffes or the birds, they get a certain amount of nurture before they're allowed to go out into the world on their own. Human beings are no longer getting that. African children are no longer getting that. A big reason why the feminist movement was brought to Africa, a big reason why the LGBT movement was brought into Africa, because Africa being the mother of all civilizations, it would take the U.S. government and other Caucasian governments more time to convince the African woman on the continent that being a mother is an outdated phenomenon. So they had to really put and push money into Africa to break that relationship, that trust and bond that the black man and the black woman had with each other in order for the LGBT, in order for the feminism to get in there. You see, so the reason why you had a Hillary Clinton, a Barack Obama, a Joe Biden, a Kamala Harris threatening African governments with the cessation of grants and funds and aid if you don't normalize homosexuality is not about gay rights. It's about making sure we can infiltrate the minds of the children by getting the mothers out the house.
And look, you taking me so many different places, but I want to talk about Black love then, right?
Okay.
Because you know, me as a financial educator, I understand. I've studied wealth. I studied other cultures.
Before you go to Black love,
and
forgive me for jumping in.
For sure,
But I got that little ADHD thing too.
So
when that thought comes, if I don't give it to you, I'm gonna forget it.
I'm with you.
Let's go to the Rockefellers. The Rockefellers created a General Board of Education. Stay with me. This is an oil family, right?
Yeah.
Why would they create a General Board of Education? And by the way, you do know Spelman College here in Atlanta, that I love and respect, is named after the wife of Rockefeller. It started out as an independent black school, but they came in with their money. And as a, as a compromise, they gave the school the name of the wife. The Rockefellers spent millions financing HBCUs. They spent millions financing PWIs. They spent millions infiltrating public school boards and infiltrating textbook corporations. Why? Why is an oil company worrying about college? Why is an oil company worrying about the textbooks that public schools use in America? Because if we want to control the economics, if we want to control the wealth, if we want to dominate industry, if we want to practice true capitalism, we cannot teach the children how we did it. Because if we teach the children how we did it, black or white, they can then teach themselves how to undo it. Economics was intentionally kept out of America's schools, black or white, intentionally kept out to make sure the kings of capitalism could never be overthrown.
Wow. And so, when I think about, because so this thing is all like so multi-layered, right? Because when you think of black or white, population control, the government, there's a government shutdown happening.
Yes.
And with that government shutdown, SNAP benefits are being withheld. A lot of people believe that it will only affect the black community, but the
more white people
on food stamps. So talk a little bit about that.
This SNAP scam is not simply the result of a stalemate between the Democrats and Republicans in Congress. Yeah. This is intentional. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, what do we know about crime? Poverty is the grandmother of all crime.
1,000%, yeah.
Whenever resources are low, crime is up. When resources are plentiful, crime goes down. Yeah. It is a function of the economy. When they talk about crime in the black community, they never tie it to the economy. So if poverty is the grandparent of crime, miseducation is the father of crime, and economic castration is the mother, right? So if you're not dealing with poverty, miseducation, and economic opportunity, you're not trying to solve any crime. What Donald Trump is doing, and mind you, he's not working alone because he's an employee. What he's doing is he wants to manipulate economics, opportunities, and resources. He wants to intensify financial desperation. Because if I intensify financial desperation by cutting off the food stamps, knowing that most children are raised by single mothers, those mothers are going to have to do one of three things in order to feed their children during this food stamp scare. They're going to have to go steal food. If she's caught stealing, she goes to jail. While she's in jail, those children get put into the foster care system. She's not able to go to work and pay her bills, so she can't pay the rent or the mortgage. We confiscate the home. Gentrification. Number two, she doesn't steal, but she takes her rent money, her mortgage, to buy these expensive groceries. Guess what? She defaults on the rent, she defaults on the mortgage, foreclosure or eviction. Gentrification, we take the house. Third, she starts engaging in the illegal economy on the street. Let me sell a little bit of weed where it's not legal. Let me sell a little bit of crack, heroin. You see that? Let me hustle some credit cards. She's going to have to do something under the table to make ends meet, to make sure her kids got food on the table. Yeah. They find out, once again, eviction, mortgage, we take the home. Wow. This whole SNAP scam is an intensification of gentrification. It's not about them not being able to feed their kids. It's about us being able to take your home away from you after you get caught doing it.
Wow, wow, wow. And so again, continue like down the rabbit hole of how like this is like constructed in
it's a web.
Yeah,
and it's a never-ending web. It continues to grow because one thing that Neely Fuller, who wrote that book, the Compensatory Code System for Victims of White Supremacy. Everybody should read it. I haven't read the whole thing, but I have them, right? And one of the things he talks about, one of the stages of white supremacy is refinement. Once we create the system and we master it, we now have to refine it. Refinement means what? It no longer looks like what it looked like. Cell phone gets invented, right? Remember, the first cell phones was large. And every year they get smaller and smaller to the point now they're working on a cell phone that you won't even know it's a cell phone. Refinement. They're refining white supremacy to the point that it doesn't even look like what it was. And if you refine it well enough, the victims will blame themselves instead of the system for the hell that they get.
And so going back to, you know, like let's say Black love, right? Like I understand, especially when I look at other cultures, wealth, Black love equal Black wealth.
Yes.
I feel like when I
it's a functional and healthy love.
Absolutely. And when I turn on the television, when I look at on the internet, there's a war going on, right? There's a war against Black love. Like, is that part of
absolutely? I'm gonna tell you why. On the road to the elimination of Black people is the bastardization of Black people. I'm not calling our mixed race brothers and sisters bastards. Because as a Pan-Africanist, I accept them. You understand me? I got heroes who were mixed race. I got no issue with mixed race, right? When I speak of bastardization, I'm speaking publicly, politically, from the white man's perspective. Before we can get rid of them, we have to first bastardize them. Here we go again. Refinement. Make the American Negro no longer look like the American Negro. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell Snow Bunny love to Black children through the commercials, the sitcoms, the movies. If we sell enough Snow Bunny love to black children, they'll no longer want a relationship with somebody who looks like them. Now you have this mixed race child. If we sell Snow Bunny love to that second generation mixed race child, that third generation African won't even appear to be African. And psychologically, what are the chances that they will want to be associated with anything African?
Wow.
In other words, you can get rid of black people without even getting rid of black people.
Wow. and so, you know, one of the things, and I've seen this, where every time I watch television, I've never seen in recent time a black couple. No. I've seen a black man with a white woman.
Yep.
I've seen a white woman with a black man. But seeing a black couple together is like hard to see.
When you have mice in the home, and you just killing off individual mice, you're gonna be fighting them forever.
Yeah.
You got to find the queen. You got to find the nest, and you got to rid yourself of the nest. Otherwise, you're gonna be fighting them all together.
Yeah.
In its refinement, white supremacy has gotten to a point where we tired of just knocking off black leaders. We tired of them because we're going to keep on getting, right? We get Medgar Evers. Then we got to do Malcolm. Then we got to do King. Then we got to do our Prentice Bunchy Carter and John Huggins. We got to do Fred Hampton and George Jackson. We're going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
But if we destroy the black family itself, if we convince black boys and girls to not want to create black homes, we could destroy them at the root. Yeah. That's what they're working on now. Yeah. And that's why the Snow Bunny crisis, although people laugh about it, is very serious. Absolutely. And from a finance perspective.
For sure.
And let me be honest, because I have nothing against white women or any other woman.
Yeah.
But the reason I have such a big issue with this Snow Bunny crisis is the dissolution of black wealth. It is the liquidization of the black man's wealth into the white woman's family. When I marry a white woman, if you marry a white woman, you just pledge your entire life, savings, investment, stocks, bonds, crypto to that white woman. And when she's tired of you, and normally they will get tired of you, very few white women stay with our men to the end. Think about it. Very few white women stay with our men to the end. They're there for the ride. But when it's time for you to come back down, and the honeymoon's over, this is over, and I'm taking everything you got with me. Man. The reason I hate interracial marriage economically is you robbing from us who ain't got enough, and you taking it to them who already stole too much. Interracial dating is economic treason.
There's a movie, I don't know if you saw it, with I think it's Robert De Niro, and they actually have done this before to the Indians, where they would marry.
Yes,
they would marry
to get access to their resources. Yes.
Yeah. What's the name of the movie?
The Moon, something the Moon.
Yeah.
But that was a true story.
Yeah.
Speaking of Robert De Niro, let's stick with him. He had a black wife. They got a divorce recently. Did you see what happened in court? The judge told the black wife, you're going to get $1 million a year until you remarry. You're not getting half. You're not getting a quarter. She got yes. When you ever hear of a wife divorce a husband and not get a percentage of his wealth, the judge said you get nothing but $1 million a year until you remarry. And once you remarry, you don't get another dime. The Snow Bunny divorce crisis never works in reverse.
And then, I mean, when you think about, you know, our brother Shannon Sharp, right? Someone who is super duper talented, makes, you know, builds a career, works hundreds of millions of dollars, and makes, you know,
through sexual indiscretions with a Snow Bunny. And everybody knows Shannon. I don't think Shannon did anything to her that was wrong. She could no longer control and dictate the pace of that relationship. And one thing we got to understand, the white woman who sleeps with you is still a racist. The white man who sleeps with you is still a racist. And the minute they no longer exercise control over their Negro property, they will show you. You've seen it. There was somebody just sent me a clip not too long ago. There was a white girl with a black guy. I'll give you a situation. Ezekiel Elliott, former running back for the Dallas Cowboys. A couple years ago, he had a situation where a white girlfriend called the police on him or something. They was having an argument. And there was a recording. And she basically told Ezekiel Elliott, you might be the superstar, the most famous person in the city, but I'm still a white woman. She told him, I can change your life with a phone call. The black man with the white woman is never in charge. She always is in charge.
Wow. And so now when I think, and I want to go back,
and
right?
there's no such thing as building black wealth without canceling the snow bunny crisis.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, not with you, but with other brothers I've had that conversation with, they will touch on everything except the fact that you're sleeping with a woman who could take everything from you today and thereby deny your children and grandchildren and everybody else their right to your inheritance because your love for Caucasian flesh.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? In fact, when you're dealing with rich black men, there is no greater threat to the stability of the wealth of a rich black man than that non-black woman he's dating. Remember, what's the brother, Reginald Lewis? Who I believe he was the first black billionaire in America, Beatrice Foods. You're familiar with him.
Absolutely.
Do you see who he married? An Asian. When he died, an Asian, I think she was Chinese or Korean, she got all his money. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Are you that self-hating? Are you that addicted to non-black vagina that you willing to cancel out your entire financial lineage just to sleep with some non-black poontang?
Yeah. Man, and so it's a lot to unwrap because again, as I look at how we build wealth, like when are we gonna get a break? Like what is it gonna take for us to build wealth?
Here's the problem. Economics that's not tied to culture is exploitation. Culture that's not tied to economics is servitude. Our culture doesn't have an economic component to it. Let's go to Kwanzaa. Dr. Malana Karinga, he invented the Kwanzaa holiday, right? I agree with all the principles. All the principles of Garveyism and Pan-Africanism anyway, right? But Kwanzaa, even though cooperative economics is one of the principles, out of Kwanzaa has not grown a single bank. Out of Kwanzaa has not grown a single credit union. I'm not criticizing the elder, right? I'm talking about us as a people. So with Kwanzaa, you have culture, but it's not tied to economics. Do you know what that means? That means automatically Walmart can make billions off of Kwanzaa by selling kanaras and candles and all Kwanzaa instruments and elements in their store. I don't know if you've ever been in Macy's during Kwanzaa time, Walmart during Kwanzaa time. What's another any of the department stores that sells furniture and art? They making a killing off Kwanzaa. Non-black people are getting rich off of a black holiday because we didn't tie the culture to economics. If you don't tie the culture to economics, somebody comes in and they tie your culture to their economics.
And when we think about so one thing I want to talk about is this scandal, this NBA scandal. Right, the gambling scandal. A couple of things that is blurring to me. You said this earlier around restructuring the way things look, because the truth of the matter is that right now it feels like 2020, the beginning of 2020, which was right when the pandemic started, right? And what I'm saying by that is like, right before, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. You had Kobe Bryant. You had all of these things happening with sports, with entertainment, with the government. Like all of this was happening so much, it felt like chaos right before the big hammer drop, right? Watching what's happening at Chauncey Billups, with Terry, with this whole NBA gambling scandal, the one thing that I want to get your thought on is, if 31 people were arrested, right, and they're saying it's mob related, why do we only see the black coach on television?
Great question. R. Kelly went to jail to distract from the pedophilia crisis in the Roman Catholic Church. If you look at the timing of R. Kelly's trial and conviction, it coincided with a whole new level of Roman Catholic Church exposures on the molestation. To take attention off the Roman Catholic Church, they lynched R. Kelly. Just go look at the timeline. Sean Puffy Combs was lynched to take attention away from the Epstein crisis, which involves Trump, because he was running for president at the time when he got arrested, right? And also Abercrombie and Finch. Their CEOs were convicted, or should I say arrested, for human sex trafficking on a global level.
Wow.
They made Sean Puffy Combs look like a Boy Scout. You feel me? So they had to publicly lynch Puff to take away from Epstein/Trump, because Trump and Epstein were best friends for years, and also the Abercrombie and Finch situation. This thing with Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier and all the rest of them, to your point, if you arrested 30 people, can we at least see the names?
Right.
You didn't even get a list of names.
Right.
You just gave us 3 blacks.
Right.
Not a single Italian mafia member's face was shown on the news.
Right.
Here's what I believe. I believe this NBA scam is a distraction away from a much bigger scam, but the government has to make you think they're really tackling gambling when they're not doing nothing about it at all. Think about it.
Yeah.
Child sex trafficking is a major issue in America. The government has done nothing about it. Kash Patel, FBI director, you mean to tell me you was able to uncover this NBA player coach gambling scandal, but you didn't come across nothing showing you that the owners themselves gamble? You didn't come across nothing showing you that the executives in the league gamble? You didn't come across nothing showing you that the NBA and the NFL been fixing games for years? You've had referees talk about how the NFL and NBA fix games in the interest of profit and victories and viewership. So you mean to tell me you found no wrongdoing from the teams, no wrongdoing from the execs, no wrongdoing from the refs, only wrongdoing from the players and the coaches?
Right.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to the mafia. The mafia no longer has the power it once had, but it still has power. First of all, in my opinion, the Italian mafia in the United States is a para-governmental organization. Who did America go to during World War II to help them invade Sicily under Mussolini? Who did America go to during World War II to help them protect the ships on New York City's harbor from enemy penetration? Lucky Luciano, the founder of the commission. Lucky Luciano got out of jail early by working with the U.S. government. Who did the government go to flood the black community with cheap dope in the late 60s and early 70s to destabilize the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Movement? The mafia. You understand me? Yeah. So who did the government go to and try to hire them to execute Dr. King? The mob. So the government and the mob have always had a relationship. Yeah. Here's another question I got for FBI Director Kash Patel. So you found no wrongdoing or gambling from the from the owners. No wrongdoing or gambling from the execs. No wrongdoing or gambling from the referees. How the hell did you expose gambling, illegal gambling in the NBA before you found and exposed illegal gambling in the boxing system? Right. Boxing is the biggest scam. You see fights every day where you know the man who lost should have won and the man who won should have lost. And we know that the mob been controlling boxing, boxing gambling, and boxers since the beginning of time. You know, there was a situation that I heard about allegedly where the mob tried to take control of Muhammad Ali. In the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to send some of his soldiers to step to the mob and say, hands off Ali. They tried to take control over Sugar Ray Robinson, and Sugar Ray Robinson would not do it. Some people say the mob is responsible for the murder of Sonny Liston. And you know, they also say Sonny Liston threw his second fight with Muhammad Ali because the mob told him if he didn't, he would pay the consequences.
And what's the odds? Because now that you say this, though, right? And I don't know the timing of this, but recently, Al Sharpton came out and said that he was a confidential informant.
That's not new, though.
Yeah.
That came out before. They just bringing it back up again. But yes, he wore a wire for the mob.
But think about that, right? Like so this is just coming up right before his convention came up, right? But now we're talking. He's publicly saying, "Listen, you know, I was a confidential informant because the mob tried to kill me, right?" And then we had this NBA scandal come out. It's like it's almost feel like it's media orchestrated, if you will.
I believe it. I think it's government orchestrated. And I believe there's a bigger gambling scheme at play. There's a bigger sports scam at play but they're using this small-time black gambling ring to distract. Remember, whenever they got something going on that they don't want to deal with and don't want to expose, they'll find some black person guilty of the same offense, and they will lynch and convict the black person, and then the public thinks the problem has been dealt with. But you still got bigger gambling scams, right?
Yeah.
Let's lock R. Kelly up. The public thinks we're cracking down on sex trafficking.
Yeah.
The government runs sex trafficking. You'll never see an end to sex trafficking. Answer this. How can 400,000 children go missing every year? Every year.
Yeah.
That's systemic.
Yeah.
If this was random crazy people kidnapping kids, why is it not 100,000 this year, 50,000 next year? It would be variable.
Right.
It's organized.
Right.
That's why it's 500,000 every year.
Wow.
The government is in charge of sex trafficking. Why? Number one, they need research for bioweapons. What is the one thing you need that you can't buy? Organs, people for research.
Yeah.
So you kidnap the kids and research them.
Wow.
The government need body for research, for bioweapons. They need organs, the underground organ harvesting market. Because you know, millionaires and billionaires, they don't have a problem having somebody executed for their kidney, liver, heart, or spleen. Right? Third reason, these sick pedophiliac secret societies that require sexual exploitation of kids as rituals. Epstein on now. See, one thing you got to understand about rich, white, powerful men, they never want to die because they have it so easy. They don't ever want to go back there. You feel me? Dying for them is hell. Right? I want to live as long as I can. So in the world of demonism, I don't even want to say spirituality, right? In the world of demonism, one of the things that they believe on that elite level is that sex with virgin children prolongs life. Also, drinking there's a certain fluid that is in the brain that they believe if you consume that from a virgin child, you will live longer.
Wow.
In other words, the vampire mythology, what do vampires do? Drank blood to live longer. The same thing exists within these elite secret societies where they believe that they have to molest and drink the brain fluid of virgin children. And guess what children are the most desired? The African ones, because we're the original people. You see that? So if I can do this to an African child, the power that accrues to me is 10 times stronger than if I do it to a white one. The courts are in on it. The judges are in on it. The police are in on it. I met with a woman, an elder in New Jersey, a couple years ago. She called me to her house. I didn't know. She said, Dr. Umar, I need to lay something on you. She started pulling out papers. She's showing me, this is how the court system is involved. This is how the foster care system is involved. That whole child sex trafficking thing, it is a very big deal. It'll never be exposed because you'll have to bring down the whole government. Now, let me take you to Trump real quick before you go to your next question. Donald Trump is a crash dummy for the white power structure. First of all, he don't run this country. No president does. The president is an employee, right? The National Security Agency runs this country. The Federal Reserve runs this country. The Trilateral Commission run this country. You follow me? Not Donald Trump. He's a crash dummy. Some people saying if Donald Trump wants to do all these things that he's doing, why is he crashing out so heavy so early? Normally, mind you, he ain't been in office a year. January 20th will be the start of his second term. It ain't been a fucking year. Look what he's done. Look at all the people he laid off from government. You're about to cancel food stamps, separating all the immigrants from their children, turning your back on people who voted for you, black, white, and white. Excuse me, black, Latino, and white. Look at what he's done, and it ain't been a year yet. No president crashes out like this unless he has been forced to do it, number one. And number two, he is assured that there will be no repercussions. Donald Trump is not a career politician. He's a capitalist. He's a businessman. So it don't matter if he never gets another political opportunity because he can never be president again anyway. And he's not the type to want to go down and be a governor or a mayor. You follow me?
Steve Bannon said, though, he'll have a third term. That they're fighting for that.
Only if they want the United States to dissolve into civil war. I believe white people are pissed at Trump. And although normally a white president can get away with destroying the country, as long as he makes sure white people know that they're better than everybody else, especially the blacks. Because if you give a poor white person with nothing the belief that he's still better than the black man, you can do whatever you want. Trump is doing that, but he's went so far that I think they even getting mad at him. And in fact, it ain't even been a complete year one.
Right.
This is what I believe. One of my theories is the power structure, the deep state, the invisible government that runs this country and runs this world has dirt on Trump that definitively connects him to Epstein. Definitively, right? And if he doesn't want to go to jail, you're going to run for president again. We're going to make sure you win, because votes don't decide elections anyway.
Right.
You're going to do everything we tell you to do. You're going to crash out everything, and if you don't, we expose your Epstein file.
Wow.
The reason you know Donald Trump is not in charge, you're going to sit here and tell me that you think Donald Trump likes Netanyahu? You're going to sit here and tell me Donald Trump cares about Israel?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Why hasn't he went against Israel yet? Why hasn't Donald Trump went against Netanyahu yet? Because he knows if he does, Netanyahu, through the Israeli infiltration of American society, will expose his entire connection to Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump must do as he's told, or he will be exposed.
Sheesh. Let's talk about black economics and financial power for a second. So you've spoken about the importance of group economics. In 2025, like with social media, cryptocurrency, digital banks, what would a modern Black Wall Street look like?
I think a modern Black Wall Street will look pretty much like a traditional Black Wall Street, except you have the added systems that we now have available to us, like the crypto, the AI, and the things like that.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of when you watch Black Panther 1, right? They showed you the African society, the visual. It still had the traditional culture, but everything was modern. See, the one thing we got to understand as African people, our principles don't change, but the appearance will. Unity is an eternal principle for African people. How it looks may evolve. You see that? Financial independence is a permanent principle for African people. How it looks may evolve. The problem with a lot of us, especially in the conscious movement, we think it has to always look the same. It won't always look the same.
Yeah.
But getting to the issue of black wealth and the accumulation of independent black power, because as you always hear me say, there is no black power without the black dollar.
Facts.
I'm going to go back to food stamps for a minute. All these black women about to be struggling with their babies, which I'm going to say is the fault of black men, because we should have a safety net in place. You follow what I'm saying? And I better be seeing these churches. Let me say this to the black church right now. Large black church and medium size at least. Storefronts, they might not have a resource. But if you are a black church that is considered medium, large, or mega church, you better be giving out groceries every day of this food stamp shutdown. You follow what I'm saying? Because black women are the ones who go to your church. Black women are the ones who pay tithes. Black women are the ones who help you raise that money to buy that expensive prayer house that we did not need. And why in the hell are we buying prayer houses when we ain't got banks? Why are we buying prayer houses when we ain't got hospitals? Why are we buying prayer houses when we ain't got supermarkets? Prayer houses, and we got the highest black homeless rate since Dr. King walked the earth. So I'm telling black churches right now, if they cut off them food stamps November 1st, I better be seeing a food line out your church every damn day. Black celebrities. Same thing. It is black people who made you who you are. You better be giving out some food, and I'm not talking about no one-time turkey. You better have something going on the regular. You see that? But here's my question to black women, to my queens. How about y'all go to the Korean hair care stores? Who you made billionaires. We spend $30 billion on beauty, hair, weave, and the doing of the hair, right? The styling itself. So you mean to tell me we stressing over food because of a food stamp shutdown when the same women, our single mothers who we love, stressing over this food shortage? When you've been giving the Koreans billions of dollars a year so you can look like a white woman. Take your ass to them Korean stores, I'm serious, and ask them, what are you going to do for the black community during this food shortage? Because if you do not start giving out some bags of groceries,
Yeah.
we will never buy another thing from you, and we will destroy the entire multi-billion-dollar Korean-dominated hair care industry. My brother, we got to look at black financial dysfunction as a symptom of post-traumatic slavery disease. Because why do we have black mothers right now afraid of their children going hungry when we spend $2 billion on Air Jordans a year, $4 billion on liquor a year? We spend $1 billion on chicken, turkey, beef, and pork made by non-black farmers a year. We spend more money on video games, cable TV, and cell phones than almost every other group put together. And we weren't about food stamps. We will never be a political power until we are an economic power. The problem with black financial power is not that we don't have the resources. We refuse to organize it for our benefit. Black people don't believe in weaponizing. You have the Mexicans, they weaponize their money. Black people never see it. Jews weaponize their money. Black people never see it. Arabs weaponize their money. Black people never see it. We're the only group who have never systemically and consistently weaponized our money outside of the major black nationalist movements like the Honorable Marcus Garvey or Mr. Muhammad. We don't weaponize our money. And a big reason why we don't weaponize our money, two things. Number one, psychological dysfunction. Black people's money is primarily spent to salvage their low self-esteem and poor self-concept. We shop to feel better about ourselves and to look better than other black people. As Will Smith said, black people spend too much money we do not have buying things we do not need to impress people we don't like. So our money serves a psychological protective function. You see that? And there was a research article that came out a couple years ago. Guess what it talked about? The unique spending habits of black people. They say black people are the only people in America, or they do it more than other Americans. We will buy something, not because we need it, but because it's available and we feel that it enhances our self-worth. You got iPhone 16. You just bought it last week. 17 came out next week. You got to go get it because it makes you feel better than yourself and other black people. We buy for psychological purposes, not for material necessities, right? So that's number one. On the other side, we don't have to save. We don't have to invest. We don't have to learn about crypto. We don't have to build institutions. We don't have to create some international Pan-African economic empire. You know why? Because I believe in Jesus. And my pastor teaches me that if I keep my faith in Christ, Christ will take care of everything for me. I don't have to do none of this economic profile, invest, stock market, bonds. That is not how I save my children or my grandchildren. My pastor told me that all I got to do is stay loyal to Jesus, and everything else will work itself out. What I'm saying to you, good brother, is black religion, not just Christianity, all of them work against the seriousness of attitude we need to have as it relates to the protection of economic enterprise for future generations, because they constantly preach to our people that money does not matter, only your faith. And so when you're dealing with the people who don't want to be responsible in the first place, don't want to work together in the first place, don't want to organize in the first place, who engages in systemic, conspicuous consumption to make themselves feel better and then deny it, the last thing you can tell them is you do not have to be responsible economically because Jesus Christ will handle your problems for you. If we do not challenge black religion, not just the church, but if we don't challenge black religion to change the economic message that it sends to its constituents, we will never be able to build black power with the black dollar. That message from the church, my brother, is psychologically destructive to everything we need to do economically. I do not see black churches pushing financial literacy. You know why? Because the more literate you become financially, the more conscious you become financially, the less money you have to give them.
And so would you say part of why we aren't liberating ourselves financially as a culture is because those that are in power are focused on I guess, self-preservation above the collective preservation?
Not self-preservation. I'm going to say self-promotion at the expense of preservation.
Okay.
I was at a home buying workshop in Philadelphia once, and the white man represented a bank. He got up there and he talked about why black people are routinely redlined and denied a mortgage loan, right? He admitted racism is the biggest factor, correct? But you know what he said after that? He said a big reason why black people do not get mortgages from white banks is y'all bought the car first. When you come to me asking for a mortgage for a $250,000 house and you driving a $120,000 Benz, I'm denying you. Not because you can't afford it, but you just show me where your priorities lie. In other words, if you are going through a hard time, because you bought the car first, I know you're going to pay your car note first before you pay your mortgage, and that's why you didn't get the loan. You see that?
Yeah. So listen,
as long as black people care more about how we look than how our people live, we cannot win. Now let's go to the celebrities real quick. A big problem I got with black celebrities, especially the billionaire class, right? And guess who said this? Do you remember the coach of the owners of the LA Clippers? What was his name? Donald Sterling?
Oh, Donald Sterling.
He was forced to sell his team because they caught him with the racist remarks. That wasn't the real reason. The NBA really wanted him out. But that's what they used, right? You know what he said? As racist as he was, he said, I don't understand these black millionaires. They don't do half of what we do for our people for theirs. He said there's no such thing as black, what did he call it? There's no such thing as black philanthropy. I'm paraphrasing him, but he broke it down. He said, look at what I do for other Jewish people. Look at what he do for other Irish. Look at what they do for Italian. Look at what they do for Chinese. Look at what they do for the Arabs. You don't see no black celebrity, none of them, systematically doing for their own like any other celebrity does for their own. This is my problem with us, brother, but you know why that is, right? Black people are stuck in an eternal competition with one another for who's going to be the ultimate head Negro in charge. I can't help you build wealth, brother. I can't turn you into no millionaire, even if I'm a billionaire, because I'm helping you level up to me. I can't be the HNIC if you level up to me.
But what's better than one billionaire too? Isn't that?
If you care about the collective. Remember, black people don't identify with race. Slavery took away culture and gave us religion. You see that? So we don't care if black people are mistreated until we get mistreated. We don't have a collective I. We only have an individual I. Mexicans, it's a collective I. Arabs, it's a collective I. That's why they can build and mass wealth the way that they do, because they move as a group. Mexicans will come over here, 20 in a house, and will not move out that house until every one of them got a home and a business. You don't even want your sister living in your house. You don't even want your brother living in your house. You know who the ultimate anti-black segregationists are in America? Black people! Nobody wants to get away from black people more than black people. How are you going to build wealth if we can't even live in the same neighborhood?
You're going to hurt a lot of feelings.
It's the truth.
And man, it's so much to unpack. But I want to talk about Trump again, right? Because and I guess I'll ask this question different now, because when you think about Trump not really even being really in charge, right? But let's talk about ICE, right? Like, it again, it's a cycle. It looks like domestic terrorism all over again, right? When I think about the videos and things that I've seen when, you know, the Ku Klux Klan was running around, you know, wild in the streets, sanctioned by the government, by the local sheriffs and things of that nature. When I'm watching what's happening with ICE, where it began and looked like it was about illegal immigration, deportation, but now they're running in whole buildings. They're attacking U.S. citizens.
Yes. Let me give you something. On this ICE piece. In my opinion, studying this situation, this is going to crush MAGA egos, right? The MAGA team. Donald Trump's ICE performance is nothing more than a performance. Stay with me. They will deport a couple 100,000 people. They will not touch even a quarter of how many illegal immigrants who are here who are not of African descent. You hear me? These Latinos are not going anywhere en masse. They're going to give them some to keep up the presentation in the scam. But it's really just a scam. They're making white America think we're getting rid of Latinos. They're not. Do you know why the Latinos were even brought here in the first place? Is to keep the cost of labor down so American multinational corporations wouldn't take their business to third world countries. If you deport all of the Latinos, who is going to work for less than minimum wage in these hotels? Who's going to work for next to minimum wage in these fast food restaurants? Who's going to work for less than minimum wage in a lot of these corporations? America knows the reason why you don't have more corporations that have already relocated to Taiwan and Vietnam is because the government allows the multinational corporations to pay these Latinos under the table. They not going nowhere, brother.
Yeah.
But I tell you who is.
Yeah.
All our Haitian brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
All our African brothers and sisters. They're really deporting the Africans. They're making you think they're getting rid of the Latinos.
Wow.
No, they're not.
Wow.
I promise you, when the next president is sworn in 2028, 2029, whenever that is, I promise you, you will have just as many illegals as you do now. Okay, first of all, once they drop a baby, right, that child is a citizen. Although Trump is trying to do away with birthright citizenship, it's still here though.
Right.
So if I sneak across the border and have a child, right, you can't separate me from my child now. Brother, this is one of the biggest scams being ran, this scam that he's getting rid of illegal immigrants. He can't. The American economy would fold if they got rid of illegal immigrants. They not going nowhere. And let's do the financial math on this. Joe Biden was president for 4 years, right? So these immigrants been coming in for 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Do you see how fast they reproduce, bro? Do you realize that them immigrants who came here 4 years ago, they done had about 5 kids already who are all American citizens? Even if you get rid of my mama, I'm still here. Look at this. You deport the one who snuck in, but you can't do nothing about the 4 they reproduced. He ain't doing nothing about no Mexican immigration, bro. It's a scam to do what? Charge up the poor white man in America to make him think I'm taking your country back. And you're not going to know that you've been played this whole term until he's out of office.
Right. Let's talk about your school, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
you're opening up a school. You've been intentional about making sure that you don't take any government
sir.
funding.
Yes, sir.
What lessons can entrepreneurs and community leaders learn from your ability to mobilize people financially without institutional backing?
Great question. I was blessed in that I was already popular when I started the FDMG campaign. So we took our first donation in St. Louis in April of 2014. We got our school in 2019, right? So we was able to raise that money in 5 years. And we've been renovating since then, just about done, right? So 19 to 25, about 6 years. When we talk about Black Wall Street, I'm going to tell you what gives me the most caution. In order to build that hospital, that supermarket, that bank, that manufacturer, that distribution, I got to have plumbers, electricians, HVAC, carpenters, contractors I can trust. We just got a little school, bro. The money we lost being cheated by our own, the people we paid who never finished their work, the ones who took their deposit and never came back. My brother, I see why. Even if we got the money to build Black Wall Street, I see why we ain't building it. Because the people who got the skills to erect these institutions and give us this infrastructure, they are all about the money but not providing the service. Not all, not most. But when I talked to my elders about what we went through with FDMG, they were not shocked. They said, Dr. Umar, I went through the same thing opening my business. I went through the same thing getting my house fixed. And they talk about how they had to end up going to people of another community because so many black contractors are swindling and scamming and taking deposits when you know you ain't got enough time to deliver. To be honest with you, brother, that's the biggest problem right there. Let me give you an example. I'm a plumber, right? I got a crew of 10. I only got enough time for 10 projects. but I got 20 people who want me.
Yeah.
Whether than exercise character and integrity and tell the other 10, I can get to you, but it ain't gonna be till March. They're not gonna wait.
Yeah.
Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sign this contract,
Yep.
take their deposit,
Yep. And
knowing
then
damn well
yeah.
I'm not gonna get to them till next summer. You see that?
Sheesh, yeah.
So what we need our contractors to do, and again, it's not everybody. We got good ones, but we need our contractors to become more financially ethical. The problem that I'm finding with black contractors, they're not able to turn away money that they know they cannot legally, they don't have the discipline to turn away money that they cannot ethically deliver on.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Anybody who called them for a job, they taking that deposit knowing damn well I might can't get to you for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's my problem with us. Stop scamming the people.
Yeah.
Because if we talking about building Black Wall Street,
Yeah.
we talking about more than a couple $100,000.
Facts, yeah.
We talking about tens of millions. That kind of money gets you unalived.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
That kind of money gets you unalived. But that's also why I want to open Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
Because I need these children to understand if you're going to get into this construction trade, because we're going to have the trades in high school, treat your people with ethics, man.
Yeah.
All we got is us.
Yeah.
You know, it hurt me to have to go to white people to finish us up, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I kept waiting on us, we would have never got done.
Yeah.
And I go to the Caucasians, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. They overcharged me too.
For sure.
But they finished.
Yeah, yeah. How does it make you feel, right, as somebody who, because I see you get attacked all the time. You get called all these different names, and people are, questioning your character and things of that nature. How does it feel as somebody who's like literally given your whole life? Like this is your movement.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
the movement is your life. Like
Yes.
I see your schedule. I see
sir.
like
Yes, sir.
like you are like
Yes,
this is
sir.
what you do, right?
Since fourth grade.
Right.
Yeah.
But putting your life into something that's not loving you back, like how does that make you feel?
Great question. Here's the thing. 99% of African people who know Dr. Umar globally love Dr. Umar. But you have that untalented 1%, the coonery, right?
Yeah.
The problem is the coonery gets all the attention. Positivity don't sell. Our
Yeah.
people don't want to hear
Yeah. I can see
parents
that.
talk about how Dr. Umar say their kids from autism and special ed in jail. That ain't.
Yep.
I want to hear the ninja-ish,
Right,
right?
right.
So I want to hear the scams about
Yeah.
the women. I want to hear about him stealing money.
Yeah.
Nothing with no proof, though.
Right.
Here's what the crazy thing. Nobody yet has shown any proof of any misappropriation. It is all conjecture and gossip.
Yeah.
But it sells. And here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Because I am so popular amongst our people, the coonocracy, the YouTubian struggle streamers, they know we got to go in extra on him
Yeah.
because he got so much positive going on,
Yeah.
right? That if we don't flood YouTube with slander videos,
Yeah.
nobody will listen to us. If you notice, most of my detractors, who I never met in the flesh, but I don't even know these people, they don't just do one video.
Yeah.
They'll have 20 of them.
Yeah, yeah.
He say, why you got to do the same video over and over? Because if I just do one, this will get swept up in the wave of positivity he got going on. So if you notice, my haters, they got to work overtime because they got to keep up with all the positive. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And in the general scheme of things, they're not winning and they're not going to win.
Yeah.
And the thing that frustrates a lot of people, they say, Dr. Umar, why don't you just take out the financials and show them? Bro, a man who struggles for his people will never be accountable to a man who doesn't. Somebody who's building a relevant institution for his people will never be accountable to somebody who isn't and hasn't helped them do it. You got to understand something. My questions aren't coming from my donors.
Right.
My questions are coming from my detractors. Why in the hell would I take time out to answer the questions from somebody I know is diametrically opposed to my success? It don't even make sense. So when people say, Doc, why you don't respond to them? For what?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
Just because you got a YouTube page and some internet access don't make you an authority on me and what we trying to do.
Yeah.
Now, when we open the school, I'm going to have to be on my P's and Q's 10 times more, good brother, because they're going to try to destroy it again from the inside.
For sure.
So when it comes time to hire, you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to be really careful because they need to get a ninja up in there. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
I'm going to have
yeah.
to be extra tough, bro, because this never ends. Because
Yeah.
people say, well, once you open the school, they're going to stop. Where do you live?
Absolutely, yeah.
You think this ends when I open the school? No, it just changes into another thing because they constantly move the goalposts. Remember, he'll never get a school. I got it.
Yeah.
He'll never open a school. We almost there.
Yeah.
When I open the school, this will never stop because they're not after the truth. They're after my destruction.
What's the overall goal? Because one of the things I appreciate you a lot about is your the awareness around the school to prison pipeline.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Special ed, ADHD. So I got kicked out of school 4 times, right? As a youth. I never knew this until I became an adult that I actually have ADHD.
Okay.
And as I think back to why I was getting kicked out of school, fighting, things of that nature, but even the special ed piece of it, I got expelled in the 10th grade, and immediately they wanted to put me in special ed. Thank God for my mama, who was like, nope, we're not having it.
She stood up.
And so I just stayed home for the 10th grade and redid the 10th grade over. But where does that passion come from for, special ed, ADHD, neurodivergence, and then even stopping that school to prison pipeline?
When I was in 3rd grade living in North Carolina, my parents were married. My father was a very rough Marine Corps father. It was then that I said, I'm going to be the therapist and the psychologist that can help other children when they have a problem. So 3rd grade, I decided to dedicate my life to helping our children overcome their issues, right? So with that, when I graduated from undergrad, I started my master's in a clinical psychology program, but I couldn't afford it. So I said, let me go back to Millersville University because I can get a grad assistantship and get this paid for. The director, who was Caucasian, sat me down. He said, if you're going back to Millersville, you need to get your school psychology certification. I never heard of school psych because I was never special ed, right? But he said, even if you get your license, if you're not school certified, you can't test in the schools. So I said, let me get this. Best thing I ever did. So I come back to Philadelphia, and I'm an intern, school psychologist intern in the same schools I went to. And I have a Jewish supervisor, right? Snow Bunny. So she's sending me kids to test because I'm working under her, right? And I'm testing these kids, and guess what? Ain't nothing wrong with him. This boy he a genius. What is he here for? Learning disability. Right. So I came face to face with the school to prison pipeline. This is how they do it. This is how they do it.
Yeah.
They tell black mothers and fathers, your son can't learn as well as the rest. He needs special ed. And once you go to special ed,
the IEP,
your percentage, and your percentage of going to prison just quadrupled, right? I'm the only psychologist to speak in every prison in Philadelphia.
Wow.
And in every prison I've spoken, and I speak in prisons around the world, I ask people to raise their hands because you got special ed in other places too because everybody want to do what America do, right? How many of y'all been in special ed? Almost half the inmates in the jail hand go up, even if it's a female jail. Because the average reading level of an incarcerated black person is the 3rd, 4th grade. The average grade level that they put you in special ed is in the 3rd, 4th grade. So answer me this question. If you stayed in school until 10th or 11th when you dropped out, or you got pushed out with a diploma in the 12th, right? You in jail now. You're reading on the 3rd or 4th. You got referred for special ed in the 3rd or 4th, but you didn't stop school until 10th, 11th, and 12th. How the hell you go through an extra 6 and 7 years of school and you still can't read? Nobody taught you.
Wow.
Our children, bro, don't suffer from SLD, specific learning disability. They suffer from ABT. You know what ABT is? I ain't never been taught. I ain't never been taught how to read. I ain't never been taught how to count. I ain't never been taught how to comprehend. I'm going to tell you this right now. As long as most black children globally are taught by white people, African people will never have a resurrection.
Wow.
I've spoken on every continent. I'm the only scholar alive, to my knowledge, of our race to be invited to speak on every continent more than once this century. I ain't been to a country, county, city, or continent yet where most African children are being taught by white people or through a white curriculum. In Africa, Nigeria, I see it. In Africa, as you know, just like here, uppity blacks, they will pay extra money for them to get a better Caucasian indoctrination. You follow me?
Yeah.
I'm going to pay extra for them to sit in front of this white Jesus picture all day. I'm like, traveling the world inspired me to build FDMG on a whole new level. So when you say what is the end game for me, right? Yeah. So Pan-Africanism, this is a major struggle. It's been going on for hundreds of years. It could go on for hundreds more. Who knows, right? Yeah. So what is going to be my contribution? My contribution is I want to go back to my ancestors when I leave this earth as being the first superintendent of a truly global Pan-African school district. You see what I'm saying? In other words, you in Atlanta now. Yeah. We got FDMG Atlanta. You say, Doc, I got to go to Jamaica for a few years on business. We got FDMG Jamaica. I got to go to Liberia, FDMG Liberia, FDMG France, FDMG London, FDMG Canada. You see that? Yep. So no matter where you take your child, they don't lose out on instruction because every school got the same curriculum. We've never had a global Pan-African school district. That's my goal. Start with this school in Delaware. They say your first one is always the hardest. Once we pop that, I think we're going to be able to open them. Because here's the thing. Back to the negativity that you mentioned, a lot of people do believe it, and a lot of other people are still on the Dr. Umar fence. It's like I listened to him. Could he still be a scammer? I guess he could, because the pastors speak good, right? So they're like, I don't know, because they're looking at both arguments, and unfortunately, they don't critically analyze enough because there's no proof to that argument. But nonetheless, they're looking at both sides. Once we open that school, I think a lot of people on the fence are going to help us open all the rest of the schools. You see what I'm saying? So once we get through this, I think the world is ours.
Nah, I love that. I love that. If you had $100 million right now to spend on Black liberation today, how would you allocate that money?
I would choose a city, and it would probably be one of our blackest cities. So we're talking about a Detroit, probably Detroit or Memphis. Probably Detroit. I'm going to get less pushback because Chicago, they didn't already target it, right? So I'm going to go to a black city that's very concentrated, maybe a Jackson, Mississippi. A Detroit, a Jackson, a Memphis. Atlanta is already pretty well off, even though Atlanta still needs its independent black infrastructure too, because I don't think we got a black hospital here. You follow me? So we still got some ways to go. But I would take that 100 million, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, school, hospital, bank, supermarket, manufacturing and distribution. Manufacturing, distribution, that's your jobs. Hospital, save the people. Supermarket, feed the people. Bank, invest in the people. School, teach the people. That's my 100 mil right there.
Love it.
Into what you said real quick. If it's that simple,
right?
And I got Jay-Z.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
Jay, you can't drop 20 mils? Tiger Woods, 20 mils? Beyonce, and I love Beyonce, 20 mil? Kanye, 20 mils? Bob Johnson, 20 mils? Oprah, you feel me? You mean if it's that easy? Our black billionaire class should have at least 5 Black Wall Streets.
I agree.
They ain't gave us one. What hurts me, I don't know of a black billionaire who has built an independent institution. Do any of them have a hospital? Do any of them got a school? I'm not talking about no charter school. LeBron, that's a public school. That ain't yours, right? And then, of course, people say, well, wait till they retire. We done been down that road.
Do you think like, do they know something that we don't know?
They do. And I'm going to tell you what they know. The higher you are on the totem pole, the closer you are to brutal white power. Jay-Z knows more than you and I ever could what could happen to him if he stepped out of line. Oprah knows more than you and I ever could if she stepped out of line. You see what I'm saying? And again, they just reminded them with Puff. With Puff. You going to do what? Puffy was the warning to all black billionaires. I know we in the woke. Y'all woke. You can be woke all you want. You better not put it into action.
It's funny, though, because there was a moment where, you know, after that video leaked and Diddy...
Which one? The Cassie.
The Cassie video leaked. Diddy was on live apologizing.
I remember that.
It did not look like he was apologizing to Cassie. To me, it felt...
I got to watch it again.
Watch it again, because he was like, you know, I just want to apologize. You know, I was in a dark place. And it kind of felt like, and, you know, if we think about, you know, him speaking about black liberation, suing Diageo, you know, he was on the InvestFest stage, you know, talking about, you know,
we need our own
and doing all that stuff. The moment he started doing that, that's when
they jammed him.
They jammed him. And then when I watched that, I said to myself, I said, this don't look like this is an apology to, to Cassie. It looked like, he has no ways to reach those people. So he did it, inconspicuously, where he's like, look, I'm sorry, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say nothing. I was in a dark place. Get me back where I need to go. That's what it felt like to me.
I got you. I could definitely see that. But my thing with Cassie, the same thing with Bill Cosby, because when they brought Bill Cosby case in, they brought Bill Cosby case in with maybe a couple days before the statute of limitations expired.
Yeah.
They got him right.
Yeah.
And the woman who brought the case, she was under a gag order in the settlement with Cosby, just like Cassie. I'm trying to understand, if I pay you to shut up and go away, how can you still be brought in to testify against me? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that was really, it clearly shows you it's a double standard for black folks.
For sure.
So, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. What would you say, what's the biggest financial mistake you see black community making collectively?
Wow. Mistaking money for wealth.
I agree.
Money can be converted into wealth. Money is not wealth.
Agreed.
Raising our children with the mentality of conspicuous consumption. When I go into these schools to evaluate children, and I see a first grade 6-year-old black boy with Jordans on, True Religion jeans, gold chain, right? He's being indoctrinated by his parents to be an economic slave to wealthy white corporations. I bet you he ain't got no life insurance. He ain't got no college fund. He ain't got no trust fund. So we are literally still the plantation slaves of America. Same system, operates differently. Before we pick cotton, now we just walk into these stores and pick up everything they sell and buy it. The mentality is the same. My job, our job, we have to teach black children that there are greater things to value than what you own and what you wear. Remember, we were not always these materialistic, conspicuous consumers. This grew out of the post-civil rights era, where black people felt in order to be equal to white people, we had to outshop white people. So now, because the only thing I'm allowed to do that the white man is allowed to do equitably is shop. So consumerism became the measure by which we determined equality.
Wow.
And we still do.
That's deep.
Think about it. If I'm an attorney worth $1 million, right? There's a gated white community. The attorneys over there make $1 billion a year. I'll never make that money because of racism. But if I can get one of them houses to other black people, I look equal to them whites. And too many of us are motivated by looking larger than life to other black people by our proximity to whiteness, right? And then we got to pay the cost of that, though, and we pass the burden on to our children because the only thing they're collecting from us right now is our debt. But you got to also convince black people to not live for themselves and live for future generations, and that doesn't mesh well with our psychology of selfishness. At the root is self-hatred multiplied by selfishness.
If you had a magic wand, because I mean this is great, and I want everybody to rewind and it's funny because I had tons of stuff to ask you, but I was such being a student that I got thrown off a bunch of times, right?
We still got time though. So,
for sure. But when if you had a magic wand, right? Like, how do we fix it, though? Like, how do we...
Education and economics. Education. You have to change the collective consciousness of the next generation. What is the youngest ones? Is that what do they call that young? I don't know if that's...
I think it's alpha now.
Is it alpha?
I think it's...
Let's say it is alpha, whatever they want to call it. That alpha generation, that next generation. We have to change it. Them babies being born now, they have to be subjected to a completely different economic order, a completely different social order, a completely different religious order. You don't have to change the religion. They can still be Christian, but the messages they get from Christianity got to be different. Everything we do must economically and politically empower African people or needs to be destroyed. Every fraternity, we got to look at them.
Yeah.
I love them. Every sorority, I love them. But are you economically and politically empowering for African people? Every church. Are you economically and politically empowering every traditional black organization? Are you economically and politically empowering the black people? And if you're not, we have to put you out of business. Every black business. What do you do besides take our money, put it in a white bank, and go home to a white neighborhood? You see that?
Yeah.
We even got to redefine what a black business is. Most people say a black business is owned by black people. Not me.
Yeah.
A black business is not only 100% owned by black people, it also invests in a black community and puts its money in a black bank. FDMG, our money is in a black bank. You follow what I'm saying? So we have to make sure that when we are defining these terms, what is a black business, what is a black community, make sure we define it specifically. And if they're not living up to that, we need to be able to say that.
Yeah. Doesn't living so out in the open or allowing our revolution to be so obvious, if you will, doesn't that put us in danger? Because I feel like, you know, like you said, right? Like there was a Black Wall Street, but a bunch of them, but because it was such out in the open, it allowed the white power structure for jealousy and to tear it down. And I know our brother Charlemagne the God talks a lot about the spook who sat next to the door, and I'll use him as an example, right? As somebody who I feel like, and I hope he don't get mad that I'm saying this, but I feel like he's doing that, right? Meaning that he works for the white power structure, but when you and he does what he needs to do to to be good in that power structure. But when you look at how he's empowering us behind the scenes, it's like, oh, I see what you're doing.
I agree. Charlemagne is the reason I got to the Breakfast Club. You follow what I'm saying?
For sure. Right? And so when I think about that, when I think about how he's been able to use his power, if you will, to keep the people at bay, if you will, but still he has his own publishing company with a major book publishing, and he's giving a lot of black authors the opportunity to publish their books on a wide, much larger scale that they would ever have if they didn't partner. He has the Black Effect Network where he's partnered again with iHeartRadio, but he's giving these black voices like
exposure they would have
never had. So I look at that as, all right, he's building the black infrastructure, but he's doing it quietly, if you will.
I got you.
Yeah. And so is there is there an advantage to that? And how can we, and maybe, right? Like even we talk about Jay-Z, right? Like, in a way, Jay has infiltrated a lot of spaces.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what the end game with the NFL is, but and we may look and say, man, he's just giving us black people voices to perform, but could there be, right? Could there be a bigger play that we just can't see?
Great points. Very great points. Couple things. Number one, I would start off by saying, I cannot judge the totality of your contribution until your contribution is done. In other words, I can't properly evaluate Sean Carter until he's retired.
Yeah.
I can't properly evaluate Charlemagne until he's retired.
Yeah.
You can't properly evaluate me until I'm retired.
Sure.
Because to your point, they still have plenty more decades to go to do or undo that legacy, right?
Yeah.
It could very well be Jay-Z is strategizing.
Yeah.
We got to wait and see.
Yeah.
I don't want to judge him prematurely, right?
Yeah.
I think you're very spot on with Charlemagne. I think he is using his leverage and platform in the mainstream entertainment industry to give opportunities to black folk who otherwise would never get them.
Yeah.
And I applaud him for that, because like I said, if it wasn't for him, I would have never got up there, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people was afraid for me coming up there. They're like, is he going to get up there and say that? First of all, I'm not a fool.
Right.
If I interview on the Breakfast Club the way I can interview on, say, your platform, it'll never get played. And I don't ever want to put Envy and Charlemagne in a position, you understand, where they could potentially get ramifications for something I said on that show. So if you ever watch my Breakfast Club interviews, you will say to yourself, He could definitely go harder than this.
Yeah,
You follow me?
for sure.
But I got to keep it palatable for mainstream radio.
Absolutely,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
And it works, though,
Absolutely.
because it took my message global.
Absolutely.
I say it all the time. Before I went to the Breakfast Club, if I walked through the airport, half the people knew me. After that second Breakfast Club interview, everybody knew me, including non-blacks, which is a gift and a curse because my message is to my people.
Yeah.
So now that I know everybody recognizes my face, I got to be a little careful about how I move
sure.
because they might not speak to you, but they know exactly who you are. You see
sure.
that?
Absolutely.
Now, getting back to your point, in any revolution, in any army, there's a division of labor. The general can't be the lieutenant cannot be the captain cannot be the squad leader cannot be the cadet. Some of us are born to be the spook who sat by the door. Some of us are born to be out front with the sword, right? I'm a son of Ogun in Yoruba spirituality. I'm out front with the sword. There's nothing else I can do. You follow me?
Yeah.
I was born to be the voice. So I can't be the spook because my voice is needed to rally the troops.
Yeah.
So no matter how I cut my cake,
Yeah.
I got to be out front. Other people can be a little bit more strategic. Take Ella Baker and the work she did in the civil rights movement with the NAACP and Dr. King. She was that quiet force, right? Still public, people still knew her. She was a little bit more quiet though, right? But if Fannie Lou Hamer had to be out front fighting hard, you know what I mean? So Booker T. Washington is kind of what you're speaking of. He's making his contribution with Tuskegee. He's building, right? Nobody knows, though. He's silently financing civil rights struggles in court out of his pocket. Nobody knows, though. He's using Tuskegee as a hideout for black revolutionaries so the Klan can't get him. So what you see look like he was a coon. But when you really look at what Booker T. Washington did, he was a straight-up Pan-African revolutionary, but he knew his benefit lied in not letting the world know it. I'm going to use white people's money to build up black people so they can do the same thing white people do. There's a role for that. It just ain't my role. You feel me? I know I'm the out front brother. But you're correct. You need them spooks. Now, here's the problem with the spook. Here's the problem with the spook. Because of our lack of self-love and commitment, sometimes we send them in to be a spook who sat by the door, and they end up getting flipped into an agent against the people. Do you see what I'm saying? How many times has somebody said, I'm just going to infiltrate the political space? 5 years later, they own you. I'm just going to infiltrate the banking industry. 5 years later, they own you. You see what I'm saying? So if we're going to do that, they cannot be economically dependent on that institution they're infiltrating to make sure they stay loyal to us. It's just like if you say you want to run to be mayor of Atlanta, right? My first question to you is how much money you need to beat the incumbent? Because I don't want you taking a penny from a white man, because if you take a penny from a white man, that's who you're going to be beholden to. One of the reasons black politicians are not loyal to black people, who finances their campaigns? White. The Congressional Black Caucus, they got elected on whose money? White people's money. Yeah, but I vote for them. It don't matter. If you only voting and you ain't funding, you already too late to the race. And that's why I don't think all of them are coons. But guess what? If Walmart funded me, if Elon Musk funded me, if the Jewish APIC funded me, the black community ain't got no banks to fund me. You see what I'm saying? So if we want to become politically empowered, we got to build black wealth, choose our own candidates, and fund our own candidates. Every aspect of black life, you feel the impact of our political disorganization and our economic devastation. Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Marcus Garvey said, we don't just suffer because we black. We suffer because we black and disorganized.
Love that. Is there any like last words of empowerment, anything you want to leave with our insiders, with our audience that we didn't talk about?
I would say this. 3 things. Number 1, and this is influenced by my spiritual culture, but we all choose a destiny in heaven before we come. We are born in the 21st century for a reason. You could have been born in the 19th. You could have been born in the 22nd. God put you in this century for a reason. The problems we have are ours to solve. Never let anybody control your confidence in our ability to overcome our situation. Once upon a time, China was the laughing stock of the world. Look at them now.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, India received no respect. Look at them now. Once upon a time, the Germans said the British didn't even make a good slave. And the British Empire almost controlled the entire earth at one point. My point is, the people who get respect today had none 200 years ago.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
What man has done, man can do. The Honorable Marcus Garvey said we can have a new reality tomorrow if we got to know ourselves today. The only question is, what are you willing to sacrifice for African liberation? Because the big obstacle for us is sacrifice. We want to be free, but we don't want to sacrifice time. We want to be equal, we don't want to sacrifice money. We want our own, we don't want to sacrifice our relationships with white people. You follow what I'm saying? Everything, when I talk to my Christian brothers and sisters, your whole religion is based on the belief that God sent his only son. And you know how much a father loves his son. God sent his only son to earth to die for a bunch of ungrateful people as a sacrifice so they could have eternal life. If God sent his only son to die for people who didn't even deserve it, how much more should you be sacrificing for African people to get free? We don't sacrifice.
Yeah.
And this is why when we talk about reparations, I say, yeah, we entitled to reparations. We're going to get reparations. But the problem is what? We are $2 trillion people sitting around waiting for reparations. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
A $2 trillion people is saying, I can't do nothing until I get reparations. But you're making Koreans billionaires. You're making white people into billionaires. You're making Arabs and East Indians into billionaires overnight, but you need reparations in order to be free. As long as black people tell you they need reparations to be free, black people ain't serious. You could take the slave out of slavery, but only the slave can take the slavery out of himself.
Powerful, powerful. So that's 1, 2.
Number 2 would be, if we don't change the value system of our children,
Yeah, that's important.
we might end up in slavery or we might be completely exterminated. Because America isn't just trying to find a place for black people. That was 50 years ago. America wants no place for black people. And if we keep this up along with the bunny hopping and the miscegenation of our DNA, you're going to wake up one day and you're not going to see no obviously black people.
Wow.
And if you don't see no obviously black people, they're going to rewrite the definition of what it means to be black anyway, and they will simply define us out of reality, and your whole reparations argument disappears with it.
Wow. Yeah.
So we have to understand that everything is contingent on love of self, unity, and identity with our Africanity. When I see these people running around, you got organizations in America say, I ain't leave nothing in America, I'm here, this is all I claim. But my question to you is, what nation in the world do you know survives without international allies? I don't know of none.
Right.
Cuba survived because Cuba had Russia. So you mean to tell me you're going to cut yourself off from all African countries and you're going to plant your red, white, and blue American flag in the ground of this soil and say, this is who I am, this is where I am, and this is where I want to be, with no relationships to any African country? You'll be exterminated. Only a fool would do that. But our people have such poor political education, poor understanding of international relations and politics, that we will fight for something that is ultimately to our very detriment and be proud of it because we're so politically ignorant. And that's why at FDMG, I'm the political science teacher and the history teacher. I'm the principal, but I'm going to be the history teacher and the political science teacher because those two things they cannot get wrong.
Yeah. And then lastly?
And my last one would be, we need a balance between spirituality and political struggle. This is a big weakness of ours. If you notice, we're either loaded to one or we're loaded to the other. We're either heavily political, right? Take the Black Panther Party of yesterday. They ain't really want to hear nothing about God, right? They was Marxists. I don't want to hear about it, right? Not all of them, but some. Or you get the brothers who straight spiritual, right? Just depend on Jesus and Muhammad, right? No political. We need a balance. Everything is balance. We as African people, our political struggle on earth has to be tied to our spiritual connection to the Supreme. Everything that I do because I believe the Creator put me here to do it. You see what I'm saying? So there is no separating me. There is no separating FDMG from what I believe is my spiritual mission to accomplish on earth. As above, so below. If I'm not right upstairs, how the hell I'm going to be right downstairs?
And real quick, right? how do we stop that, though, as far as the division as it relates to different ideas, right? Because when I think about, Muslim versus Christian versus Democrat versus Republican, we can have differences, but how do we have differences but still move in one accord?
We have to agree to disagree without being disagreeable. That's number one.
Yeah.
We have to also understand that we don't have to be a utopia in order to unite, organize, mobilize, and overcome. A lot of us got these antiquated ideas. Everybody has to be a carbon copy of everybody else. Until you become my robot and they become your robots, we can't overcome. That's wrong. Yeah. Diversity is to be embraced. Diversity is a weapon that we can use. It is not to be feared and shunned. The only reason why you come across Africans who don't want diversity is because their egos are so frail that anybody who differs from their perspective, they view them as an enemy. And this is the quintessential issue of the black narcissist as leader. The black narcissist as leader says, if you disagree with me, you're automatically my enemy. You see that? How can we grow if you're not allowed to disagree with me? I don't care if you Minister Farrakhan. I don't care if you Al Sharpton. I don't care if you the Honorable Marcus Garvey. I don't care if you're Dr. King or Malcolm or Mega or Huey or Fred or Nkrumah or Lumumba or Julius Nyerere or Sekou Touré or Amilcar Cabral. I don't care. Yeah. I should have a right to express my disagreement with you in the interest of the collective. Yeah. If I'm not allowed to disagree with you, if you're always right because of your age or your occupation, how do we grow as a people? You see that? Yeah. And so the problem is so many black men, because we've been so psychologically castrated by the white power structure, when we run these organizations, we need everybody to be a carbon copy, and we allow nobody to disagree with us. Yeah. There's no forward motion with that. And that's the reason why a lot of black organizations have good workers, but they don't have a lot of deep thinking intellectuals. You know why? I don't want no deep thinking intellectuals, because if your strategy disagrees with mine, right? That's going to automatically make me feel inferior to you, less perfect than I want to appear to be. You're not a leader because you know everything. You're a leader because you have the ability to organize and mobilize everybody else towards the completion of a job. Leadership is not about perfection. Leadership is not about being mentally gifted. Leadership is being able to bring all these different pieces together into a united movement and push them forward. Oftentimes, the leader ain't even got the best ideas. That's not his job. His job is to lead, not to create.
Man, I love that. This is a powerful episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. My brother, Dr. Umar Ifatunde Johnson in the building, man. My brother, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your wisdom throughout the years. Like, I've been a student for a while, so it's an honor to really get the opportunity to to interview you, because really through Breakfast Club, through a lot of what you do online, through spreading your message, it's really opened my eyes, specifically to the work that I do and try to educate, as it relates financially, our people. If the people wanted to connect with you, where can they find you?
If they want to reach me, Dr. Umar, let me get out of the email, princeofpanafricanism@gmail.com. So that's Prince of Pan-Africanism, one word, @gmail.com. Make sure you spell Africa with the letter K. All right, Prince of Pan-Africanism @gmail.com. Make sure you spell Africa with a K instead of a C. And if you want to reach me by phone, text message only, because I don't answer the phone. 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. Make sure you hit your PayPal for FDMG Academy, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Check some money orders payable to P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. And I want to see all of our donors and supporters at the FDMG grand opening as soon as we get our certificate of occupancy. Peace and Pan-Africanism, Garveyism or get back, unify or die, Black queens forever, snow bunnies never.
Let's go. All right, y'all. We are closing out the vault. Another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash. Make sure you like, share, tell everybody about this interview. Make sure they, spread this wide because this is needed information. Follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Go to our website, InsideTheVaultShow.com. I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. I'll see you next time, same place, in God's will.
Peace.
Peace.